Your microphone's on. Click.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Anything preliminarily before I call the case?
Judge, did you receive the plea petition?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And I understand from Mr. Bostwick that we're going to go ahead and do sentencing today as well. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and be on the record. Case number 20CR456, captioned State of Kansas versus Robin Webb. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state appears by Assistant District Attorney Claire Thibodeau.
And Mr. Webb appears in person through Counsel Mark Bostwick on Zoom video.
All right. We are here set down for a plea and a sentencing today. I've received the plea petition and reviewed the same. Mr. Webb,
Judge.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Judge,
Yes.
everybody froze on me. All I got is we're set down for a plea.
Okay. We all better now? Okay.
Yes.
We're set down for a plea and sentencing. I've reviewed the proposed plea petition. Mr. Webb, to take up this plea, I'm going to have to ask you some questions, okay? If at any time I ask you, you're muted, by the way, you'll want to take that off. There we go. So if at any time I ask you a question, you don't understand it, tell me that so we can talk about it and make sure we're on the same page, okay?
Okay.
And if you want to talk to Mr. Bostwick before you answer one of my questions, you just tell me that. I have the ability to send you guys to a private room so you can talk without us hearing you, okay?
Okay.
All right, to start this, I need to have you sworn in. So if you'd raise your right hand, my court reporter will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Yes, I
Okay,
do.
Go ahead and put your hand down. Mr. Webb, how far did you go in school?
Graduated from high school, 1973.
Great. So you reading right okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. As you sit here today, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs or prescription medicine that might cloud your mind, keep you from understanding what's going on?
No, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. And you know you don't have to change your plea from one of not guilty to guilty. If you wanted to maintain your not guilty plea, you would have a right to a jury trial on these charges.
Yes, I understand.
Okay. At that jury trial, the state would have to put on enough evidence to prove you guilty. You, beyond a reasonable doubt, you wouldn't have to prove anything yourself. At that trial, Mr. Bostwick would assist you. He would cross-examine all the state's witnesses, challenge any of their evidence. If you wanted witnesses called, he could do that. And if they didn't want to come to court, he could use subpoena power to make them come. Do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. At that trial, you would have a right to testify, but you'd also have a right not to testify. And if you and Mr. Bostwick decided it wasn't a good idea for you to testify, the state couldn't use that against you. In other words, they couldn't get up and argue, well, he must be guilty because he didn't tell you his side. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So if we went through that whole trial and at the end of that trial you were found guilty, you would be able to appeal that conviction to an appellate court. If you didn't have the money to do that, the court would appoint a lawyer to do it for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, if we do this plea today, you're going to be giving up all of those rights. There's not going to be a trial of any kind in these charges. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I am going to share right now over the screen the copy of the plea petition that I received. First of all, tell me, can you see that?
Yeah, I have one myself.
Okay. So this is the same
Judge,
document you're looking.
Judge,
Yeah.
I lost you where, all I got, the last part I got is I'm going to share right now over the screen a copy of the plea petition that I received. That's the last part I got.
All right. So, Mr. Webb, this is the copy of the same plea petition you have in front of you and that Mr. Bostwick went over with you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Now I'm going to scroll down here to where it talks about the plea agreement. It says that you're going to be pleading guilty to count 2, which is possession of drug paraphernalia. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor. The state's going to dismiss the rest of the charges. The parties are going to recommend to me that you get a 6-month underlying jail sentence and that you be granted probation on that for a period of 12 months. That as part of that, you're going to have to do drug treatment through the VA. Is that your understanding of the entire plea agreement?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Has anybody promised you anything else to get you to plead guilty today?
No, sir.
All right.
No, sir, Your Honor.
Anybody placed any force or threats against you to make you plead guilty today?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. So I see in this agreement that there's some agreement about what they're going to recommend to me as your sentence. You understand I'm going to listen very closely to all of those recommendations, but I'm not bound by any of them, and I can give you any sentence that the law allows, including granting or denying probation despite any agreement by the parties. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, the maximum sentence that anybody could get for this crime is 6 months in jail and a fine of $1,000. Do you understand that that's the maximum sentence that anybody could get?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Webb, do you have any questions for either me or Mr. Bostwick about anything that we went over today?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bostwick, do you know any legal reason why your client should not plead?
No.
All right. Then I'm going to ask you, Mr. Webb, as to count 2 of the information, which charges you with possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class B non-person misdemeanor, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Now I'm going to ask Ms. Thibodeau to tell me what she thinks the state's evidence would be if this case went to trial. I want you to listen closely because when she's done, I'm going to ask you if that's what happened, okay?
Okay.
Ms. Thibodeau.
On July 12th of 2020, officers from the Bonner Springs Police Department were dispatched to the area of South 138th Street and West Kump Avenue in Bonner Springs, Wyandotte County, Kansas. There had been a vehicle crash there. They located the defendant, Robin Webb, walking across the street from the vehicle. They asked if he had been involved in a crash, and he said yes. They went back to the vehicle, and in that car,
Hello?
Did you?
I lost you, Judge. Claire, you stopped it. They asked if he had been involved.
Okay. They asked if he had been involved in a crash, and he said he had. They went back to the vehicle, and in the vehicle, the officer saw a clear glass smoking pipe with white residue inside. Based on that officer's training and experience as a law enforcement officer, he was aware that clear glass smoking pipes are used to smoke methamphetamine.
Right.
And that was the defendant's car that the pipe was in.
Mr. Webb, is that what happened in this case?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I will find the defendant has freely, voluntarily, and intelligently entered into his plea today. He understands the nature of the charges and the consequences of the plea. The state has provided a sufficient factual basis for a finding of guilt, and I will in fact find the defendant is guilty of count 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class B non-person misdemeanor. Per the plea agreement, the other counts are dismissed. My understanding before we came on the record was that the parties are both waiving pre-sentence investigation, asking the court to go forward with sentencing today. Is that correct, Ms. Thibodeau?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bostwick?
Yes.
All right. Then I would hear any comments you might have, Ms. Thibodeau, regarding the defendant's sentence.
Your Honor, I would just ask you to follow the plea agreement, and I hope that the defendant can get the treatment that he needs through the VA. I believe he's already started on that treatment, so I would just ask that you order that he continue in that treatment.
Mr. Bostwick?
Yes, Judge, I just urge the court to follow the plea negotiations. He is living at the VA facility up in Leavenworth. He's been in treatment for the last 2 or 3 months, and he will continue in treatment until its completion.
Okay. Mr. Webb, anything you want to tell me today before I pass sentence in this case?
No, sir, Your Honor. I just want to thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. I am going to follow the plea agreement. The defendant will be sentenced to a period of 6 months in the Wyandotte County Jail. That time will be suspended and he will be placed on probation for a period of 12 months with adult court services. A specific requirement of that plea agreement is that he continue his drug treatment at the Veterans Administration and follow all of their recommendations. All right, Mr. Webb. Well, look, I think you've really grabbed the bull by the horns by getting into that treatment facility already, and you're working hard. As long as you keep doing this, maybe we can just look back on this unfortunate event as something that was able to get you to where you needed to be. Okay.
Yeah, I understand that well.
All right. What do we know as
Hello?
far as court costs and all of those things?
It froze again, Judge.
Okay, where'd I lose you?
Where he just said, you said something that was able to get you where you needed to be, and he said, yeah, that's the
Okay.
last part.
All right. So, Mr. Bostwick, do you know, is your client on a fixed income here?
Pardon?
As far as your client, is he on a fixed income?
I can't hear you very well.
Huh. I wonder, okay. I was asking if your client's on a fixed income. I'll go ahead and ask Mr. Webb. Mr. Webb, how do you make ends meet?
Yeah, I'm on a fixed income. I get from the VA a disability as $1,140 a month.
All right. All right. Ms. Thibodeau, unless there's some objection from the state, I think it's going to be a financial hardship for the defendant to pay court costs, supervision fees, or attorney fees. Do you have any objection to me waiving all of those?
No, Your Honor, all noted on the journal entry.
All right. All costs and fees will be waived. Mr. Webb, do you happen to have a pen there in front of you?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want you to take down this number because it's going to be the probation office. Okay. When we
Okay.
hang up here, I want you to give them a call. Tell them what happened today, that you got placed on probation with them. They'll give you instructions on how to, I'm assuming, are you an inpatient there at the VA or can they
Yes.
transport you?
I'm an inpatient here right now, but my out date, I'll have 3 months completed the 28th of this month. And then I'll move from there. I guess I'll move to wherever Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to have you call them. They'll give you instructions how to keep in touch with them. Okay. The number is area code 913
Okay.
573
All right.
2846.
All right.
Just tell them your name and your case number, which is on that plea petition that you got there in front of you.
Okay.
And tell them that you were granted probation with them today, and they'll tell you what you need to do. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Anything that I failed to cover today, Ms. Thibodeau?
I have 4 days of jail credit for the defendant.
All right. You agree with that, Mr. Bostwick?
I do, Judge.
All right. Anything else, Mr.
No.
Bostwick? All right. Well, good luck to you, Mr. Webb. I'm sure you're going to do great. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Let's see. I'm going to need a journal entry and a cost sheet, which I usually get from probation. But I'll send them a note over there and see if they want to send me something like that.
I prepared the journal entry. I'm emailing it to Mr. Bostwick now so that he can approve it, and I'll have my assistant e-file it.
Okay. All right. And I'll talk to probation. I'm sure even though I'm waiving all the costs and that they'll want a sheet that, and an order of probation that, that reflects that. So I'll let them know what's going on.
Okay, thanks,
All
Judge.
right. Yeah. Monica and Claire, we will see you later today. Mr. Webb, Mr. Boswick, have a great day.
Hey, Judge, you have a good weekend. Good luck, Mr. Webb. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck,
Bye-bye.
Mr. Webb.